So, you have decided you want to become a game developer. Well, welcome to the wildest roller coaster you've ever ride, except this one has no safety bars and occasionally crashes into a pile of bugs. Hi, I'm Richard, and today I'll be spilling the tea on what it's really like to chase this dream, based on my own journey into game dev, of course. Why did I sign up for this, you might ask? Well, it's the same reason we all did: games. It's because we love video games. It all started with a younger me sitting in my room playing games like Street Fighters, Super Mario, and the likes. And my thought was, I could totally make something like this. I could not. I thought game dev was like slapping some cool graphics together or something and calling it a day. Boy, was I wrong. My first attempt at game dev was me downloading Unity, watching half a YouTube tutorial and thinking I was going to crack out the next Call of Duty by Tuesday. Instead, I made a cube that fell through the floor endlessly.
What an idiot!
But here's the thing, failing is like the second secret sauce of game development, or practically any programming journey, or at least that's what I think. My early games were a glitchy nightmare, like the time I made a character who could only move backward and I called it innovative gameplay. Like, I'm being serious here, I sucked when it came to the game dev. When it came to coding in general, I was terrible, but each disaster improved me because I learned from my mistakes. So, if you really want to make games, here are the things you should at least consider. Number one, learn how to code. I know, we all hate hearing the word go learn this, go learn that, but just want to get into the fun stuff, right? But trust me, skipping the basics is like trying to build a house without a foundation. You will end up with a crippled, sorry excuse for a game. I learned this the hard way. Turns out, understanding a bit of code, be it Python or C++, would have saved me a lot of stress. You didn't need to be a coding wizard to be able to start with the basics. Just start with the basics, watch tutorials, mess around with it, and don't be afraid to break stuff. That is how you learn. Number two, start small, like really small. The purpose of this is to gain familiarity. One of the reasons we are unable to build stuff is because we aren't familiar with the process. It's like a baker trying to bake a cake and doesn't know how to use an oven. Like, how? When you start small, you get to know the ins and outs of your engine. Hence, you're able to think logically on how to use that engine tools to make your game. I didn't get this at first. I jumped into Godot once thinking I could make this platformer with moving platforms and physics. Problem was I didn't even know how to make collisions work. So I found this random forum post that told me how to write a bunch of code I barely understood. I spent hours on it only to realize I could have just clicked a button in the inspector to set up a collision layer. Like, that was basically the issue there. So starting small saves you from overcomplicating things. Make a tiny game first, like a one-screen thing where you collect coins or judge obstacles, or find a complete game tutorial. Follow it step by step and soak up the experience that way. My first finished game was actually a Tetris game clone made in Godot. Unfortunately, it will never see the light of day, so not all games need to be great. Number three, embrace the suck. Look, you suck, I suck, we all suck at game dev. Even the pros all sucked at some point. So yeah, it's actually okay to suck. I still suck and it's not a big problem. The difference between you and the folks making Hollow Knight or Stardew Valley is that they kept going even though their games were hot garbage. Take Undertale for example, a really good 2D game that took 2.7 years to make. So basically, if you are determined to make it work, finishing a bad game is a million times better than abandoning a perfect one. Plus, those are early messes mixed for great stories. So keep it up. Number four, planning and optimization. I cannot stress this enough. Planning your game and learning about optimization will save you so much pain in the dev process. Believe me, I have learned this the hard way. I had no clue clue about optimization. So I cranked up the lights, added shadows, threw a bunch of 3D models, thought I was going to make the next God of War or something. Then I hit play and yeah, I was this close to frying my PC. My poor low-end PC was rocking these specs with no NVIDIA GPU whatsoever, or like you rich kids out there. The frame rate dropped to only what I can describe as a slideshow, and my fan sounded like it was auditioning for a jet engine. Planning means sketching out your game scope before you start, knowing what features you actually need and what's just flaw. Optimization means learning tricks like using low poly models instead of high volley models, or tweaking settings to keep things running smooth, especially if you're on a budget rig like mine. If I had planned better, I wouldn't have spent a week trying to make my game run at more than 10 FPS. Start with simple assets and test performance early. It's like checking if your car has gas before a road trip. Number 5. Find your people. There is a whole community out there ready to throw you a rope when you're in a pinch. X, Discord, Game Dev subreddit. They are packed with folks who have been through the same struggles. I figured out how to fix a wonky camera in Godot from a random YouTube comment at 2 a.m. and I felt like I've won the lottery. If you want to learn first, join a game jam. Though I haven't really had time to join one myself because of personal stuff. But I heard it's like a 48-hour sprint to make a game from scratch, depending on the duration given. Sometimes 2 months, 3 months, it depends. So with that, you can also make a team of like minds to help bring your game to life. You have to work, collaborate, and have fun. Even without a gem, I have leaned on online communities, like when I was banging my head against the wall over a stupid function, and some saints on Discord explain it in like 3 sentences. Find your people and they will keep you sane and stop you from doing dumb stuff. Alright, let's wrap this up with some real talk. Game dev is a grind. Like, I have spent 12 hours debugging an inventory bug. Working on a low-end PC even makes it harder. Every time I hit play, it's like my computer is praying for retirement. There are days you want to chuck your keyboard into the void, but then there are those moments when someone plays your game and doesn't immediately quit. My proudest moment was when I showed my Tetris clone to one of my friends and she played it for like a whole 2 minutes before saying, "Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad." That's like a win in my own book. Those little wins makes the struggles actually worth it. So if you're out there dreaming of making the next Super Mario, Undertale, or even the next God of War, or even just something small that makes someone smile, here's the deal. You don't need a fancy GPU, or wait, actually, that depends on the game you're making. If it's a 2D game, you don't need anything fancy. But if it's a 3D, you might need to bulk up a little, and also you don't need a computer science degree. All you need is just a love for games, a willingness to learn, and the guts to keep going. Start small, plan smart, suck proudly, and find your crew. I'm still doing it, still breaking stuff, and still loving every chaotic minute. Oh, and speaking of projects, I am super pumped to share that I am the lead programmer at Riot Studios. We are working on a game called Maledicta, and it's an hack and slash gothic vibe inspired by aviators like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. Think stylish combos, dark vibes, and bosses that won't make you sweat. We are still in the development stage, so we're pouring our hearts into it. So stay tuned for updates and get hyped for the release. And if you're thinking about diving into game development, drop a comment and tell me what got you fired up. If you have a game idea that you can't stop thinking about, or something that is pushing you to do this, I got you covered. Just don't get angry and break your PC at one end. So also, if you like this video, smash that like button. It keeps our instant noodle budget alive. Subscribe for more game dev tips, rants, and updates on Maledicta as we bring to life. Until next time, keep failing, keep creating. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.